Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. The Lakers legend remembers how telling his wife was the most difficult part of being diagnosed with HIV. Los Angeles Lakers legend Magic Johnson has become a living testament to advances in medicine that have turned human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, from a death sentence into something that can be managed and lived with. While Johnson can now attest to 30 years of life after being diagnosed with HIV, his journey living with the disease has been far from easy. During an appearance on CBS Mornings, Magic Johnson discussed living with HIV 3 decades after he was initially diagnosed with the virus prior to the 1991 to 92 NBA season. Johnson remembered the devastation of his diagnosis and said that the most difficult part was having to tell his wife, Cookie, who he had just married and who had just become pregnant with their child. It was hard because I loved her so much and I hated to hurt her, Magic Johnson said. Cookie Johnson was worried about Magic, but supportive. It wasn't how he got it that was important to me. It was, you're possibly going to die. And that trumped everything, Cookie Johnson said. At the time of Magic Johnson's diagnosis, there was a strong stigma around HIV and AIDS. Johnson was pivotal in helping to lessen that stigma, as he not only managed to find a way forward and live with the disease, but also returned to playing basketball. He played on the 1992 NBA All-Star team as well as the Dream Team at the Olympics. It proved to be the right decision, Magic Johnson said. It helped people who are living with not just HIV and AIDS, but with any disease that you can live on. You can live a productive life. Magic Johnson has remained a central part of the Lakers franchise in his life since serving as a coach and executive as well as a player when he came out of retirement for the 1996 season. Earvin Johnson Jr. has lived an amazing life that could only be summed up in one word: magic. In Johnson's own words, he was a little kid from Lansing, Michigan, who grew up poor but didn't have poor dreams. The basketball legend with the $1 million smile, uncanny vision, and unbridled passion for the game had to retire while still in his prime after contracting HIV. But that was only his first act. Magic went on to become a leading spokesperson for the deadly disease, changing the world's perception about AIDS. After retiring from the NBA, Johnson found a second act as a successful businessman by investing in underrepresented urban communities. But basketball would always be his first love. That is, until he allegedly felt backstabbed by the very organization that made his legendary career. His life reads like modern Shakespeare, full of mythical triumphs and tribulations, tragic heroes and redeemable villains. But how much do you really know about the man who wore the number 32 jersey? This is the untold truth of Magic Johnson. Earvin Johnson had no plans to be Magic. To his family, he's called Junior, as in Earvin Johnson Jr. His neighbors called him Junebug growing up. It wasn't until his sophomore year of high school that he became magical. Earvin turned in a mighty performance one game and a triple-double, double figures in points, rebounds, and assists. A local sports writer dubbed him Magic, and a legend was born. Johnson couldn't have been happier in hindsight. My original nickname disappeared a long time ago, which is fine with me, he wrote in a column for the Seattle Times. Man, I'm glad I didn't have to go through my professional career with that name. With his new nickname in tow, Johnson's lore grew as a high school basketball star. He attended nearby Michigan State University and led the Spartans to a national title and then became one of the greatest NBA players ever. Everyone knew Magic. Only one problem with his famous name: his mother hated it. As a devout Christian, she considered the nickname blasphemous, according to NBA history. We're guessing his folks never stopped calling him Junior, probably even Earvin when they were mad. It's hard to believe the NBA was at one time about as popular as professional bowling. The NBA finals were tape delayed, airing long after the game ended. What the NBA needed was stars and drama, and by dumb luck, it fell into their laps. The Boston Celtics and Los Angeles Lakers were already two of the biggest franchises in NBA history, and fresh off the most watched NCAA finals in history at the time. The 1979 NCAA championship between Magic's Michigan State Spartans and Larry Bird's Indiana St. Sycamores, the two traveled to different coasts to continue the rivalry. Let's stipulate up front that Earvin Magic Johnson is more than just a transcendent legend of the hard court. The five-time NBA champion and two-time league MVP has led a post-basketball life more full than most humans could fathom in 10 lifetimes. After he was forced to abruptly retire in 1991 with the shocking announcement he had tested positive for HIV, he built a staggering business empire and raised millions to combat this terrible disease. Certain Nicki Swift scribes with bylines on this article may have started their careers with a 5th grade book report turned drilling hagiography recounting Johnson's rookie year exploits, where he led the LA Lakers to the NBA Finals. The then babyface point guard stepped in for an injured Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at center, scored 42 points, and nabbed 15 rebounds, all on his way to Finals MVP still in his early 20s. And yet, this article is about the shady side of one Earvin Magic Johnson. We all have a shady side, and certainly anyone in the public eye for as long as Johnson will have left a record of inevitable missteps. Johnson's own memoir is the source for much herein because Magic was always more than a superstar athlete. He's, by most accounts, a tremendous human being. And a necessary condition for that is self-reflection. This is a complicated and fascinating man. And so, yeah, he's got a shady side too. Magic Johnson and another legendary NBA point guard, the Detroit Pistons' Isaiah Thomas, were bitter rivals on the court during their iconic clashes in 2 NBA Final Series. Magic took one, Thomas the other. But it was always thought they were the best of friends too. Tom Brady-level kisses they shared seemed to speak of manly mutual respect bordering on brotherly love. That all ended in 2009 when Johnson accused Thomas in his memoir, When the Game Was Ours, of spreading rumors he contracted HIV through gay and bisexual activity, according to ESPN. Thomas says it isn't true. "I'm really hurt," he told Sports Illustrated via Newsday. "I really feel taken advantage of for all these years. I'm totally blindsided by this." Johnson's book also made the claim he had persuaded Madison Square Garden president Steve Mills to give Thomas his job as New York Knicks president in 2004. Thomas didn't like Johnson taking credit for his accomplishments. "It's so hypocritical," he shot back. "There is this public person, and then there is this BS person. There's Earvin, and then there's Magic. It's just like the line he perpetuated that he got me the Knicks job. That's a lie." Fortunately, the two stars had a tearful and moving reconciliation in 2017. Well worth watching if you enjoyed the complex perils of masculine intimacy. Even though Magic Johnson and Cookie Johnson were newlyweds when he tested positive for HIV in 1991, they had actually met in college and been romantic all the way back to 1977. When Magic broke the news, Cookie was also pregnant with their first child. "We both fell on our knees and we started crying," she told ABC News. But Cookie wasn't crying for herself. She wept for Magic. She says Magic told her he'd understand if she left him. She replied, "Are you kidding me? No, I love you."